And hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the second semifinal at the Arch Madness Missouri Valley Conference Men's Tournament. We are ready for 6-seed Northern Iowa and 2-seed Bradley. Winner is off to the championship game at Arch Madness to take on UIC. UIC defeated Drake just about 30 minutes ago, 72-51 in the first semifinal to advance. And we'll take on the winner of this game for the Arch Madness Championship and NCAA Tournament bid tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock Eastern. Northern Iowa and Bradley. Let's go ahead and set the stage and set the starting lineups for you on this game. Apologize, it's a little late jumping on here. For the Panthers of Northern Iowa enters at 21-12. On the season, 6th seed in the Missouri Valley Conference. They line up this way up front. Number 13, Will Hornseth. Hornseth, a 6'8 sophomore out of DePere, Wisconsin. Hornseth on the season, third leading scorer for Northern Iowa at 11.3 points per contest. The other forward for the Panthers is number 14, Tristan Smith. Tristan Smith, a 6'6 senior out of Elizabeth, Colorado. Tristan Smith averaging 9.1 points per game for the Panthers. At one guard is number 3, Max Weisbrod. Weisbrod, a 6'4 senior out of Windsor, Wisconsin. Weisbrod on the season averages 6.5 points per game for Northern Iowa. Another guard is number 35, Leon Bond III, 6'5 junior out of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Bond's second leading scorer on this Panther team at 11.7 points per game. And the other guard for Northern Iowa is number 4, Trey Campbell. Campbell, a 6'4 senior, a hometown kid out of Cedar Falls, Iowa, leading scorer on this Northern Iowa team at 13.5 points per game. Northern Iowa is led by Ben Jacobson in his 20th season at the helm of Northern Iowa. In their first-round win over Evansville, Jacobson set the all-time record for Arch Madness tournament wins. For Bradley, the number 2 seed, they line up this way. Bradley comes in 21-11 on the season, fresh off a hard-fought double overtime win in the quarters yesterday over Valparaiso. They line up like this. Up front for Bradley, number 4, Corey Thomas, getting the start tonight for Bradley. Thomas, a 6'10 senior out of Buford, Georgia. Corey Thomas on the season averages 5.2 points per game. The other forward for Bradley is number 14, Ahmet Janovic. Janovic, a 7'1 senior out of Serbia. Janovic on the season for Bradley, averaging 8.1 points per game. One guard for Bradley, number 3, Alex Holbretzi. Holbretzi, a 6'4 senior out of Grafton, Wisconsin. Second leading scorer on this Bradley team at 12.7 points per game. Another guard for Bradley is number 21, A.J. Smith. Smith, a 6'7 senior out of Edwardsville, Illinois. Smith averaging 8.5 points per game. And the third guard for Bradley is number 22, Juwan Johnson. Johnson, a 5'11 sophomore out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Leading scorer on this Bradley team at 17.4 points per game. Bradley is led by head coach Brian Wardle, trying to lead the Braves to their first Arch Madness title since 2020. Highest seed left with number 1 Belmont going down in the quarters yesterday, as Bradley is the number 2 seed. So again, the lineups for Northern Iowa up front, we've got Hornseth and Smith, Weisbrod, Campbell, and Bond in the backcourt. For Bradley up front, Thomas and Janovic, with the backcourt of Holbretzi, Smith, and Johnson. Brexy. I hope I'm getting that pronunciation right on his name. The officials for this second semifinal game, Randy Heimerman, Kip Kissinger, and Marcus Pettigrew. Panthers, the 6 seed. Braves, the 2 seed. Winner off to the championship game against UIC. Before we begin here, let's run down the couple of other scores across the country, across college basketball. Run down some top 25 scores for you, first of all. Number 1, Duke in action here in about 30 minutes. They host 17th ranked North Carolina at Cameron Indoor. Remember that epic game those two played back in Chapel Hill about a month ago? North Carolina getting a shot with less than a second left to beat Duke in that game. Number 2, Arizona on the road at Colorado. That game tips off at 11 o'clock Eastern. Number for the shocker of the day, number 4, UConn goes into Milwaukee and falls to Marquette. 68-62 in that one. That loss will probably cost UConn a number 1 seed, as that is a struggling Marquette team this year. Number 5, Florida at Kentucky. Florida's all over Kentucky in the second half with 7 minutes left, 71-55. The defending national champions starting to get into their groove here come tournament time. Number 6, Iowa State, no problems at home today with Arizona State, 86-65, the final score there. Number 7, Houston had a battle bit, but they do win in Stillwater against Oklahoma State, 82-75. Get you some other top 25 scores here. Number 10, Texas Tech in action later on in Provo against BYU. Let's run down the scoreboard here. Number 13, Virginia against Virginia Tech. This is a win Virginia Tech could have used, as they're firmly on the bubble, but they don't get it. Virginia wins at 76-72. Over Virginia Tech. Number 14, Kansas, no problem with their in-state rivals from Kansas State today, 104-85, the final there. Number 15, Purdue, losing at home to Wisconsin, 86-83. That game has 4.5 minutes left in it in the second half. Number 16, Alabama hosting Auburn. Auburn, another one of those teams that's firmly on the bubble. I have no idea how they're on the bubble with 14 losses, but they are. In my personal opinion, not that my opinion matters, but I wouldn't even have them anywhere even sniffing the tournament right now. But Auburn and Alabama coming up 8:30 Eastern time, the Iron Bowl on the hardwood. Number 20, Arkansas in overtime wins in Columbia over Missouri, 88-84. Number 22, Miami falls at home today to Louisville, 92-89. Number 23, Tennessee falls at home to number 24, Vanderbilt, 86-82 in a tight one. And a game that just ended, number 25, St. Louis, they get absolutely thrashed at George Mason, 86-57. Billikens are probably firmly in the field, but that loss is probably going to cost them a seed or so, as they just get absolutely pummeled by the Patriots of George Mason today. So that is a look at the top 25 scoreboard. Let's run down real quick some conference tournament action. Semifinals in the A-Sun going on. Did I miss a game in there? Okay. Semifinals in the A-Sun, I'm sorry. Taking place, first semifinal, Florida Gulf Coast and Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas is up 3 at the break, 35-32. Second semifinal coming up in the A-Sun 30 minutes after this game. And it will be Queens against Austin P. We actually have our first team that has punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. That's in the Northeast Conference. Long Island, a winner over Wagner today in the NEC semifinal. That win for Long Island has them already in the NCAA tournament. That was a 64-56 win over Wagner. So no matter what happens in the NEC championship game, they are in the NCAA tournament because Mercyhurst defeated Stonehill in the other semifinal in the Northeast Conference. Mercyhurst is only in their second year in Division I, so they are in that transition period, that 4-year transition period where they cannot go to the NCAA tournament. So since they're in the championship game, Long Island, win or lose in the NEC championship game, is in the NCAA tournament. That is an absolute joke of a rule that the NCAA has in place. But that is the rule. We'll run down some other conference tournament scores, but we are set to go here for semifinal number 2, Northern Iowa and Bradley. Teams split the 2 games in the regular season. Bradley defeated Northern Iowa by 6. Northern Iowa defeated Bradley by 12. So this is the rubber game of 3 between these 2 teams this season. And we are underway in semifinal number 2, tip controlled by the Panthers. This is Trey Campbell with it to Bond. Bond gives it off now to Weisbrod. Weisbrod on the outside now will drive, kick it back out now. And the turnaround jumper, no good. Offensive rebound and putback is good by Hornseth for the game's first 2 points. Northern Iowa up 2-0. Bradley with their first possession of this game. 3-pointer on the way. That's too strong. Rebound pulled down by Northern Iowa. Hornseth with it. Hornseth looking for help. Gets it over to Trey Campbell. Campbell back to Hornseth. And the jumper in the paint is good. And the Panthers off to a 4-0 start. Bradley with the basketball. Here's A.J. Smith. Kick outside Smith. Now in the corner for a 3, and that is good. And Bradley is on the board with a 3 from Corey Thomas, and it is 4-3, Northern Iowa in front. Hornseth with it for the Panthers. Gives it off to Weisbrod. Weisbrod back outside now to Tristan Smith. Smith spins, puts it up with the right hand off the glass and in. Tristan Smith with his first field goal, and it is 6-3, Northern Iowa. Jawan Johnson with it. Jonovic now for Bradley. Jonovic looking to back his way in. Now we'll turn and look for help, and we'll put it up and get the roll off the back rim. First 2 points for Jonovic. It is 6-5, Northern Iowa. Campbell with the ball inside for Northern Iowa. Will kick it outside to Leon Bond. Hornseth with the jumper. That's too strong. And we have a foul. That's going to be on Northern Iowa on the rebound. First foul of the game goes against the Panthers. And again, folks, I apologize. This happened yesterday. The line score here that I use on it is not updating. Whoever's been running this site, little slow on the trigger the last couple days. Bradley with the basketball. I'll see about switching this out at the timeout. Jonovic Jonovic spins. Jonovic puts it up with the right hand, and he scores, and Bradley has their first lead at 7-6. Just over 3 minutes into this first half. Hornseth with the ball for the Panthers. Off now to Campbell. Campbell's foul line jumper is good. And Northern Iowa's back in front, 8-7. Braves bring it up across the timeline. Hoybretzi with the ball for Bradley. Outside to Johnson. Johnson gets inside, throws it up off the back rim, no good. Rebound pulled down by Northern Iowa, and then we have a Bradley foul on the rebound. Panthers bring it up across the timeline. Campbell off to Hornseth. Hornseth looking for room. Now we'll drive inside, put it up with the right hand. That's off the back rim. No. Rebound pulled down by Bradley. Juwan Johnson on the drive. Johnson kicks it out in the corner for a three. That's off the front of the rim. No. Rebound pulled down by Trey Campbell. Campbell Bond on the head of the floor and will lay it in for the Panthers. Leon Bond with the basket. 10-7 Northern Iowa. 4.5 minutes in. Hoybretzi for Bradley. Turnaround jumper in the paint, up and good. Two more here for Bradley to make it 10-9. $15-minute mark, first half. Trey Campbell with the ball. Campbell pull-up jumper in the paint. That's good. Brian Wardle not happy with his team's defensive effort right now. 12-9. Northern Iowa up 3. A.J. Smith with it to Jonovic. Jonovic trying to back his way in. Jonovic turns. Jonovic puts it up too strong, and then he is over the back. That'll bring us to our first timeout at the 14:27 mark of the opening half. 12-9 lead for Northern Iowa. Let me switch this out here because whoever's on the ESPN app is a little bit slow on the trigger once again for the second time in as many days. Let's see. All right, let me switch this out. Give me a minute here, folks, to get this switched over. Ay. There. All right. So 12-9 the score here early on with Northern Iowa leading Bradley. Winner again to play UIC in the championship game. UIC a 72-51 winner over Drake. Early start here for Northern Iowa with a 3-point lead, 5.5 minutes in. %67% shooting early for the Panthers. Braves at 50%. Following the timeout, it is Northern Iowa ball. Bringing it up across the midcourt stripe here is Trey Campbell. Schweiger with the ball. He checked in at the timeout for the Panthers. Now to Bond. Bond, the turnaround jumper in the paint, and the Panthers get two more. Red hot shooting start for the Panthers. 14-9. Braves trying to answer. Here's a three for Jawan Johnson, and it is good. Jawan Johnson with a three in the corner, and it is a 14-12 ball game. Northern Iowa lead us 2. And at the other end, Leon Bond gets one underneath. 16-12. Montana Wheeler into the game for Bradley. He's got the ball now. Bounce pass underneath. Shot blocked from behind. And back come the Panthers. Schweiger puts it up short. Rebound pulled down by Bradley. And we've got a reach-in foul here against the Panthers. Second team foul of the half on Northern Iowa. Bradley ball, here's Wheeler. Wheeler throws it up there, and it's rebounded by Northern Iowa. Wheeler with a wild shot. Panthers have it. Here's Dialf on the outside. And the drive off the glass gets the roll. Panther lead up to 6. 18-12. Looks like they finally got this fixed, so I'm going to switch this out again. Wheeler on the drive for Bradley. Wheeler off now. Short jumper is no good, but there will be 2 free throws coming for Caillou as he was fouled. $12 minutes to go, first half, 18-12 lead for Northern Iowa over Bradley, semifinal number 2. Bradley wins this game. We will have an all-Illinois battle for the Missouri Valley Championship. With Northern Iowa, 9 of 13 shooting to begin the game, 69%. Bradley, 5 of 11 shooting for 45%. Been a clean game. Neither team's turned the ball over yet. Now keep in mind, as this game goes on, Northern Iowa pretty much cruised in their quarterfinal win over Illinois State. Bradley had to go double overtime last night. So they played 10 extra minutes, and they're coming back not even 24 hours later. So we'll see if that becomes a factor as this game goes on, as far as legs go. Another upset in the top 25 has just gone final in West Lafayette. Number 15, Purdue, falls at home to Wisconsin, 97-93. So number 4, UConn, and number 15, Purdue, have both gone down today in the top 25. Two free throws here for you for Bradley. First is no good. You will have one more. Second is good. 18-13. Northern Iowa's lead is 5. "14 of Northern Iowa's 18 points so far in this game have come from inside the paint. So Northern Iowa doing their damage inside right now. They have yet to attempt a three-point shot. There's RJ Taylor with it for Northern Iowa and tries to get it over, but the Panthers turn it over. And that's the first miscue of the game for either team. Braves bring it up across the midcourt stripe. And there's a turnover. Northern Iowa has a fast break and a monster dunk for Diouf. 20-13 in favor of Northern Iowa. And Bradley almost turns it over again, but there's going to be a foul here on Northern Iowa. Diouf called for the foul. That'll be his first. Team foul number 4. And down here to Wheeler. Wheeler with it in front of the Northern Iowa bench. Now will launch a three from over there and hit it. Montana Wheeler with a three-pointer. Pulls Bradley within 4, 20-16. Actually, they're calling that a long 2. Apparently, his foot was on the line. So it's a 2-pointer. Pass inside. Diouf sends it outside. Schweiger for 3. That's short. Rebound pulled down by Bradley. Braves with it here. Hoibrezzi on the outside. Hoibrezzi drives. Hoibrezzi kicks it outside to Vandernap. Vandernap spins in the paint. Turnaround jumper gets the roll. That's the second field goal for Timothy Vandernap, and it pulls Bradley within 3 now at 20-17. Bradley fans come to their feet, and they always bring a lot of them. Schweiger drives inside for Northern Iowa. Bank shot off the glass is good for Ben Schweiger. 22-17, second field goal for Schweiger. He's got 4. Hoibrexi with it now for Bradley. Gives it off over to Vandernap. Vandernap finds Montana Wheeler on the outside. 8 on the shot clock for Bradley. Wheeler drives. Wheeler spins in the paint. Wheeler loses it. 3 on the shot clock. Bradley's going to have to throw a shot up here with the shot clock running down, and that's going to be off the front of the rim barely, just avoiding a shot clock violation, and now back comes Northern Iowa. Weisbrod with it for the Panthers, off to R.J. Taylor. R.J. Taylor now on the outside. Taylor with 10 on the shot clock launches a 3 and buries it. R.J. Taylor with a 3, and the Panthers have their largest lead of 8 at 25-17. Hoibrexi with it. Out to Wheeler for 3. Round and out. Rebound Weisbrod of the Panthers. I've been pronouncing his name Weisbrod throughout the tournament. It might be Weisbrod. R.J. Taylor with it. He'll pull up. He will hit. Panthers 13 of 18 from the floor. Timeout Bradley with 8:31 to go in the first half. It is a 10-point lead for Northern Iowa, 27-17. They are red hot offensively right now. %72 shooting for Northern Iowa. Don't figure they can keep that fiery pace up all game long. So the Braves find themselves in a 10-point hole here. Juwan Johnson finds Jonovic. Jonovic drives inside. He misses the shot. Rebound pulled down by the Panthers. Back comes Northern Iowa with Weisbrod. Tristan Smith with it now. Smith spins. Smith. Hornseth. Hornseth backs his way in. Now we'll turn around, put it off the glass too sharp. Rebound pulled down by Bradley. Bradley gets a defensive stop there. And now back the other way come the Braves. Jonovic. Jonovic sends it outside to Smith. A.J. Smith on the drive, lays it up with the left hand and in. A.J. Smith with his first 2 points. 27-19. Northern Iowa up 8. Campbell. Nice short pass, and the jumper goes down for Hornseth. Northern Iowa lead back to 10, 29-19. Hoibrexi on the outside. A.J. Smith. Smith with it. Off to Vandernap. Back over now to Hoibrexi out on the outside. Finds Juwan Johnson. 10 on the shot clock. Johnson into the corner. And now the drive inside, and Bradley throws it away and turns it over. Northern Iowa gets the steal. Tristan Smith spins out to Weisbrod, and he is bumped. Hoibrexi called for the foul, and he's not liking the call as he's discussing it with the official. 6:50 remaining in the first half. Panthers in control right now, up 10, 29-19. Both these teams are in search of win number 22. And their 22nd win that would put them 1 win away from the NCAA tournament. And Northern Iowa with the upper hand right now on 70% shooting from the floor. Still a blistering pace to start this game for Northern Iowa. Quickly update you on some other conference tournament games during the timeout here. Second round in the CAA, Towson in front of Hampton 16-12. Earlier in the CAA, Campbell knocked off Stony Brook 96-89. Also, Drexel picked up an 84-77 win over Northeastern. Still to come later on in the CAA, Elon and William and Mary in the other quarterfinal. SoCon quarterfinal, Furman leading Samford 40-31. Earlier today in the SoCon, East Tennessee State eliminated the Citadel 83-76, that final score. And in the other quarterfinal in the SoCon, it was UNC Greensboro knocking out Wofford 75-72. Wofford was the 2 seed in that tournament. They are out. Still to come, Western Carolina and Mercer in the SoCon. $29-19 here, Northern Iowa in front of Bradley. 6:50 remaining in the opening half in our second semifinal. Panthers ball out of the timeout. Campbell with it on the outside. Campbell off to Bond. And Bond will set the offense for the Panthers. 7 to shoot for Northern Iowa. Campbell drives, kicks it out to Bond for a 3, and it's good as the shot clock is expiring. Leon Bond makes it a 32-19 lead for the Panthers. 9 for Bond. Bretzi, and we've got a reach-in foul on Northern Iowa. Team foul number 4 on the Panthers. Bradley has it. Juwan Johnson on the outside, draws a double team. Johnson looks for help, finds Bretzi. Bretzi had ball knocked away and stolen. Steal for Northern Iowa. 1-on-2 break, and Campbell is fouled as he's going up for the shot, and he will shoot 2. Northern Iowa getting it done offensively and now forcing some turnovers for Bradley. Bretzi picks up foul number 2 for Bradley. And Trey Campbell will shoot 2. First is up and good. Campbell, a 79% free throw shooter on the season. He hits them both. Panthers up 15, 34-19, 5:50 to go in the first half. Wheeler with the ball for Bradley. Panther fans on their feet. Long cross-court pass to A.J. Smith. Smith with it on the outside. Now will drive. Sends it back out to Wheeler. To Johnson. 5 on the shot clock for Bradley. Juwan Johnson on the drive. Kicks it off to Wheeler. Wheeler tries a 3 with the shot clock expiring. That's off the back rim. Out of bounds. Ball over to the Panthers. Northern Iowa, the best defensive team in the country, and you are seeing why in this first half. They give up just over 61 points a game. As I said, that leads the nation. Campbell with the ball. 5 to go in the first half. So this is not a Northern Iowa team that you can afford to give yourself too big of a deficit against. Illinois State found that out last night. Campbell misses, a rare miss for the Panthers. And then we have an over-the-back foul on the rebound against Northern Iowa. Second foul on Tristan Smith. That's team foul number 6. Wheeler with it now. To Juwan Johnson. Johnson drives inside, puts it up with the left hand. That shot was altered. And what have we got here? We have got a tie-up on the rebound attempt. Possession arrow will keep it with Bradley. While Northern Iowa was shooting 68%, vice versa, Bradley's just 8 of 19 for 42%. Ball comes in to Juwan Johnson. Bounce pass over to Wheeler. Wheeler on the outside. Now A.J. Smith finds Vandernap. Back to Wheeler. 7 on the shot clock for Bradley. Wheeler drives. Wheeler throws up the runner inside. That short rebound pulled down by Schweiger of Northern Iowa. Schweiger. Campbell, open 3. Top of the key, and it's good. 37-19. It is all Panthers. Timeout, Bradley. With 4:09 to play in the first half. 37-19. Northern Iowa in complete control here in this first half. Will Bradley have an answer for this offensive explosion for Northern Iowa here in the first half? Bradley had to use their second timeout here in the first half. Seven players have scored here in the first half for Northern Iowa. They are getting a lot of balance in this first half offensively. Coming up at the half, we will run down the entire scoreboard, top 25 college basketball scoreboard, run down some conference tournament action. We've already have a bid clinched in the NEC. We will have a bid clinched in the OVC tonight. Following the timeout here, Bradley's got to find some kind of offense somewhere. But it's hard to do against the best defensive team in the country. Juwan Johnson brings the ball up the floor for the Braves. Finds Jonovic. There's a nice feed inside, and there's a dunk. There's a good start as Vandernapp gets the dunk underneath for Bradley. 37-21. Inside go the Panthers. Here's Bond. Sends it back outside to R.J. Taylor. 10 on the shot clock for Northern Iowa. Taylor. Off to Hornseth. Campbell with the alley-oop to Schweiger. Taylor, pull-up jumper, good. R.J. Taylor with the basket. That possession looked like it was going nowhere, and the Panthers still found a way to score. 39-21. Hoybretzi over to Jonovic. Hands off to Juwan Johnson. Johnson back to Hoybretzi. Hoybretzi inside. Open three is up and good for Bradley. They needed that one. 39-24 as we're under 3 to go in the first half. Campbell with it on the outside for Northern Iowa. Pull-up jumper by Bond. That's no good. A rare miss for the Northern Iowa. And back comes Bradley the other way. Hoybretzi for three. That's off the bar. That was a little quick. Rebound Northern Iowa. R.J. Taylor. Handoff now to Schweiger. Bond with it. Bond drives inside. Bond gets cut off. Now will turn and shoot and hit. Bond now with 9.5. 41-24 Northern Iowa. 3 at the other end. That's no good. But a foul as Bond fouled the shooter. And this will be 3 free throws for A.J. Smith. First free throw by Smith is good. Second free throw also good. One more free throw coming for A.J. Smith. Smith hits all 3. (41-27). Braves within 14 here. Weisbrod in the corner. Weisbrod wants the 3, but doesn't have a good look. Passes over to Bond. Bond has the hot hand in the first half. He's now got 11. 43-27 Panthers. Minute and a half to go, first half. Juwan Johnson on the outside. Three-pointer, Hoybretzi. Good. Bradley starting to heat up now. And they're within 13, 43-30. Bradley fans come to their feet, trying to urge a defensive stop here for the Braves. Campbell off to Schweiger. Minute to go, first half. Now a double team here for Bradley. Has the Panthers in a little bit of trouble. 3 to shoot. Underneath for a dunk. That's not going to count, though, I don't think. It's a foul on Bradley, and it ended up a smart foul for Bradley because Northern Iowa had a dunk underneath. That's the 15th foul, so Bradley still has a foul to give here. The inbound into the backcourt to Trey Campbell. Bond. Off to Campbell. Campbell finds Schweiger. Schweiger spins. Schweiger turns and hits. Boy, Northern Iowa still in the 70% range in the first half shooting. Bradley has it. There's about a 6.5 second difference shot clock, game clock, so Bradley cannot quite run this down. Bounce pass inside, turnaround jumper is good. Corey Thomas now with 7.5 for Bradley. Final shot of the half belongs to the Panthers. Campbell with 5. Campbell now the drive with 3. Campbell with 2. Pass batted away, and that's how the first half will end. Bradley gets themselves within 13 at halftime, 45-32. So a little mini run there where it looked like Northern Iowa was on the verge of running away and hiding. But Bradley gives themselves a little bit of hope here heading into the locker room down 13. All right, so with Northern Iowa leading here 45-32 at the half. Let's run down scores across the country. We will begin with some non-tournament scores and just go run down through the... Let's first start with the top 25 scoreboard. Number 1, Duke hosting number 17, North Carolina. That game is underway. Duke is leading 17-13. Just over 6 minutes into that one. Remember, North Carolina beat Duke on a shot with less than a second left in Chapel Hill about a month ago. So Duke has a little bit of payback on their mind in this one. They lead by 4 early, 17-13. Number 2, Arizona on the road at Colorado. That game will tip off at 11 o'clock Eastern time. 9 o'clock there in Boulder. Number 3, Michigan. They're in action tomorrow. They will host 8th-ranked Michigan State. Michigan took it to Michigan State in East Lansing about a month ago. The shocker of the day was in Milwaukee. Number 4, UConn. They were right in the running for a number 1 seed, but they go into Milwaukee today against Marquette, a very down Marquette team this year. And Marquette beats UConn 68-62. That loss will probably cost UConn a number 1 seed. So a shocking loss there for number 4 UConn on the road at Marquette. Defending national champions number 5 Florida go into Lexington and knock off Kentucky 84-77. Florida's starting to get their groove, folks. They are going to be tough to oust. Number 6 Iowa State, no problems at home today in Ames over Arizona State 86-65. Number 7, Houston had a little bit of a struggle in Stillwater, but they do pull it out over Oklahoma State, 82-75, the final score there. Number 9, Nebraska, they're in action tomorrow. They close out the regular season tomorrow at home against Iowa. Number 10, Texas Tech is in Provo to take on BYU. That game's scheduled to start at 8:30 local time, 10:30 Eastern. Number 11, Illinois, they close out their regular season tomorrow at Maryland. Other games, number 13, Virginia picks up a 76-72 win over Virginia Tech. That's a win Virginia Tech could have used. They're squarely on the bubble. But Virginia wins at 76-72. Number 14, Kansas, no problem today at home over Kansas State. 104-85 was that final score. Number 15, Purdue goes down at home today to Wisconsin, 97-93. That's the third loss in the last 4 games for Purdue. They are not closing the season on a high stretch. Iron Bowl on the court. Number 16, Alabama hosts Auburn. That game coming up at 8:30 Eastern. Auburn squarely on the bubble. Goodness to me, why with 14 losses, but I know they've got 4 quad 1 wins, and that's, I'm sorry. To me, Auburn has no business even tasting the tournament right now. Number 20, Arkansas goes into Columbia and wins at Missouri in overtime, 88-84, that final score. Number 22, Miami falls at home today to Louisville, 92-89. Number 23, Tennessee falls at home to number 24, Vanderbilt, 86-82. And number 25, St. Louis gets absolutely throttled at George Mason, 86-57. St. Louis probably firmly in the field, but this is probably going to cost them a seed as they just get walloped at George Mason today. Couple of other games involving non-ranked teams, but very bubble significant games. The big one in the Big Ten, Indiana and Ohio State. Both those teams firmly on the bubble. Indiana probably needs it more than Ohio State does. However, Ohio State is running Indiana right out of the gym in Columbus. Ohio State leading 61-38 over Indiana with 15 and a half minutes to play. That may very well burst Indiana's bubble. A blowout loss to Ohio State. They're going to need some kind of miraculous run in the Big Ten tournament, I think, now to get themselves back in the picture. Conference tournament action in the A-Sun today. They are in the semifinal round, and currently with 1:18 to play, Central Arkansas leads Florida Gulf Coast 64-57. Second semifinal coming up, Queens and Austin Peay. That game will follow this one, as we will have our 2 A-Sun finalists following this game. America East got their tournament underway in the quarterfinal round. Number 1 seed UMBC, a winner over New Hampshire today, 84-69. Number 2 Vermont, no problems with Bryant, 77-57. 3 seed New Jersey Tech, a tight one. They pick up a 60-58 win over Maine. And the 4 seed Massachusetts Lowell defeats Albany 81-76. So the higher seeds hold serve in the quarterfinal round in the America East. Semifinals in the Big South. The number 1 seed High Point, they defeat UNC Asheville 75-71. They will take on the number 2 seed Winthrop in the championship game. Winthrop squeaks by Presbyterian 73-71. So the Big South final is set for tomorrow at noon Eastern. Winthrop and High Point, the top 2 seeds in the Big South, to battle for the Big South championship. CAA second round. Campbell, a winner over Stony Brook today, 96-89. Drexel picks up an 84-77 win over Northeastern. At the half, in the third second round game in the CAA, Towson leading Hampton 30-17. And still to come tonight, Elon and William and Mary in the final second round game in the CAA. Metro Atlantic quarterfinal round. Marist at the half leads Quinnipiac 42-32. Still to come, Mount St. Mary's and Siena in the Metro Atlantic. Northeast Conference semifinals. Mercyhurst defeated Stonehill 56-51. And in the second semifinal, Long Island 64-56 over Wagner. What that means is Long Island, no matter what happens in the NEC championship game, Long Island has clinched a berth in the NCAA tournament. They will be the NEC representative because Mercyhurst is in their transition period. They're in year 2 of the 4-year transition period of the move up to Division 1. So they are ineligible for the NCAA tournament. So therefore, Long Island, no matter what happens in the NEC championship game, Long Island will be headed to the NCAA tournament. That is an absolute joke of a rule that the NCAA has in place, but that is the rule. Championship game in the OVC tonight. We will punch our second ticket, the top 2 seeds in the OVC, Morehead State and Tennessee State. That comes up at 9 Eastern time for the auto bid out of the Ohio Valley Conference. Quarterfinal round in the SoCon. East Tennessee State knocked out the Citadel earlier today, 83-76. UNC Greensboro knocked out the number 2 seed Wofford, 75-72. And at the half, Furman and Samford are tied at 46, still to come in the SoCon. Western Carolina and Mercer in the other quarterfinal game. Semifinals in the Summit League. Omaha and North Dakota State in the first semifinal. North Dakota and St. Thomas of Minnesota in the second semifinal in the Summit League. Fourth quarterfinal round, I should say, in the Sun Belt. 9 minutes to go in the first half. Southern Miss has a 1-point lead over Appalachian State, 17-16. And still to come, the second quarterfinal, Georgia Southern and Coastal Carolina. Now the Sun Belt uses that ladder format. The higher you finish in the standings, the bigger of a bye you get. So the top 2 teams in the Sun Belt still hasn't even played yet. They don't have to play until the semifinals, which will be tomorrow. West Coast Conference uses a similar format. They're into their third round, coming up at 9 Eastern, Portland and San Francisco in one third-round game. That will be followed by Seattle and Pacific in the second third-round game. That is a check. All across college basketball, across tournament action and top 25 action across the country. And we do have a final as well that I want to point out. Utah State has defeated New Mexico. New Mexico is firmly on that bubble too, but they fall today to Utah State 94-90. With that win, Utah State has clinched the Mountain West regular season title. Utah State's probably in anyway, but New Mexico, the team that really needed that win, but they do not get it as Utah State wins 94-90 to clinch the Mountain West regular season title. Another bubble team, SMU, being talked about. They did not help matters today either as they go into Tallahassee and fall to Florida State 91-78. So Indiana, a heavy bubble team, they're getting blasted at Ohio State today. SMU, a bubble team, they fall at Florida State. Auburn, they play tonight at Alabama, and I still say, how in the world Auburn's even on the bubble is beyond me. But it's those quad one wins is why. But so a lot of bubble teams not helping themselves today. Auburn can if they can get a win at Alabama. Update on that North Carolina-Duke game. Duke is now up 24-13 over North Carolina. That's about midway through the first half. They're at Cameron Indoor. As college basketball, for some conferences, wrap up their regular season this weekend, and other conferences, like I've been saying, conference tournaments, Missouri Valley, one of them, will crown a tournament champion and NCAA representative. 20 minutes away from having our Arch Madness championship game decided. Here at the half, Northern Iowa leads Bradley 45-32. UIC winning earlier today, 72-51 over Drake. So the winner of this game to take on UIC in the Arch Madness championship game. Let's run down the first half stats from this one. Northern Iowa, 71% shooting, 20 of 28 from the floor. They only shot 4 3-pointers. They made 3 of those for 75% and hit both of their free throws in the first half. Bradley, 12 of 25 from the floor for 48%. They were 4 of 9 from three-point range. 44%, 4 of 5 at the free throw line for 80%. So with Northern Iowa shooting 71% in the first half, it didn't give Bradley a chance for many rebounds. They only had 6 rebounds in that first half. Out-rebounded 13-6. Pretty clean game, only 5 combined turnovers in that first half. 3 for Bradley, 2 for Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa doing a lot of their damage inside. 22 paint points in the first half for Northern Iowa, outscoring Bradley in the paint, 22-12. Individual scoring in that first half, Leon Bond leads the way for Northern Iowa with 13 in the half. Trey Campbell added 9 points. 7 points off the bench for R.J. Taylor, 6 points apiece from Will Hornseth and Ben Schweiger. 2 points apiece from Tristan Smith and Ishmael Diouf, the scoring for Northern Iowa in the first half. For Bradley, they were led by A.J. Smith's 8 points in the first half. Corey Thomas with 7. 6 for Timothy Vandernap. 3 points apiece for Jaquan Johnson and Alex Hoybretzi. 2 points out of Amet Jonovic and Montana Wheeler, and a point out of Kai Yu for the Bradley scoring in the first half, as Northern Iowa is up 13 as we get ready to start half number 2 in our second semifinal at Arch Madness. Northern Iowa will have possession of the basketball to start the second half. Teams are getting their final pep talks here before the second half begins. It's like both teams are going to be coming out with their original starting 5 here in the second half. Bond to inbound for the Panthers, and underway we are in half number 2. Trey Campbell with the ball. He draws a double team on the outside. Pass deflected and stolen by Bradley. There's a good start to the second half for the Braves. Jaquan Johnson with the ball. Johnson will back it out and reset the offense. Now Johnson drives inside, spins, and Northern Iowa knocks it out of bounds. It will stay Bradley ball, 17 on the shot clock for the Braves. Braves to bring it in under the basket. Turnaround jumper inside, around and out. Rebound pulled down by Bond of the Panthers. Up to Tristan Smith. Smith against Corey Thomas, puts it in with the right hand, and Tristan Smith starts the scoring in the second half for Northern Iowa, 47-32. Jonovic with it for Bradley, over to Jaquan Johnson. Back inside it goes to Jonovic. Jonovic gets free for a dunk underneath. 47-34. Panthers up 13. Minute 15 into the second half. Weisbrod gets it off to Tristan Smith in the corner. Now Smith will drive inside and get fouled. Foul is going to be on Jaquan Johnson of Bradley. First foul on Johnson. First foul on Bradley in the second half. Panthers bring it in here. Campbell just dribbling. Campbell now gets it over to Bond. Bond's had the hot hand in this game for the Panthers. Bond puts it on the floor and turns it over as the ball goes out of bounds. Braves bring it up. Down 13. 2 minutes into the second half. Jaquan Johnson on the drive. Johnson pulls up from the foul line. That's too strong. And the rebound on the floor picked up by Jonovic for Bradley. Sent back out to Johnson. Johnson over to Jonovic. Jonovic turns with the right hand. That's off the back rim. No. Rebound pulled down by Northern Iowa. Couple missed opportunities there for Bradley. Panthers get it, and the shot inside, no good by Tristan Smith, but he is fouled, and he will head to the line to shoot two. First free throw by Smith is up and good. Two free throws for Smith. (49-34) the score. Drive inside by Vandernap. Bounce pass inside to Jonovic. Jonovic gets fouled, and he will head to the line for two. Four points on the game for Jonovic. First of two free throws up, and good. One more free throw coming. Well, just prior on that foul, Tristan Smith picked up his third foul for Northern Iowa, so he has to go to the bench here for a little while. Two free throws made for Jonovic. 49-36, Panthers up 13. Panthers break the slight Bradley press, and now an open three in the corner off the front rim. No. Rebound pulled down by Jonovic of Bradley. Braves trying to get closer here. Bretzi gives it off to Montana Wheeler. A.J. Smith with it now. Smith on the drive. Smith off the glass and in, and that cuts it to 11. 49-38. And Northern Iowa will turn it over. And then a foul after the turnover. Bradley, one of the schools that brings the largest contingent of fans to St. Louis every year, and this year is no exception. They get this down to single digits. You're going to start and then get vocal. Shot up, no good. Out of bounds. It will go over to the Panthers, so they miss an opportunity that time. Another slight press shown by Bradley. Broken by Northern Iowa. Hornseth outside to Schweiger. Trey Campbell with it as they work it around the perimeter. Now a deep three is no good. Rebound pulled down by A.J. Smith. Don't think you really needed that shot if you were Northern Iowa. Jaquan Johnson, bounce pass inside. And we're going to have a foul as Vandernapp tries to drive inside. That's already the fourth foul on Northern Iowa in the second half as we hit our first timeout at the 15:41 mark. Bradley trying to get back in this. They trail 49-38. 15:41 remaining. Somebody just... I've got to find out if this is real or not. Somebody just sent me... I've got to find out if that's actually up there or not. Somebody just sent me something. It's a shot there inside the Enterprise Center, and they sent me a picture of the, you know, how if you're at the conference tournament, they hang all the flags of the teams of the conference teams up. Somebody just sent me this. Sent me a picture of 12 teams, Missouri Valley Conference teams, with Missouri State's flag still flying. Of course, Missouri State left the Missouri Valley for Conference USA. I got to try and find out if this is actually real this year or if this is because if that's the case, if that's still hanging up there, that's an inexcusable error. Northern Iowa has dropped under 70%, but they're still at 68 for the game, percentage-wise, shooting the ball. Inbound it comes here. Jaquan Johnson has the pass deflected. Vandernapp gets to the loose ball, however. Corey Thomas inside for Bradley. Thomas spins, turnaround hook shot, no good. Tip won't go. A third try for Bradley and a foul on Northern Iowa. Bradley doing a good job crashing the glass now. Foul is on Schweiger. First free throw up and good. Seven points on the game for Vandernap, trying to make it 8 here, and he will. And the Braves have this down to a single-digit deficit for the first time in a while. 49-40. Bradley fans rise to their feet. Campbell on the outside for Northern Iowa, off to Bond. Outside to Campbell. Nice pass. Inside, rim blocked. Hornseth went up for the shot. It was rejected. Wheeler inside. No, but a follow jam by Vandernap. And this is a 7-point game. 49-42. Campbell off to Bond. Back to Campbell at the top of the key. Campbell gives it off inside, and a layup is good for Northern Iowa to stop the Bradley run. 51-42. Panthers back up 9. "26 points in the paint now for Northern Iowa. Open three. Corey Thomas is good. And this lead is down to 6. 51-45. Campbell with the ball at midcourt for the Panthers. Now driving. Campbell is fouled as he goes up. No foul. There looked like a lot of contact there. Bradley brings it back the other way. An 11-2 spurt right now for the Braves. Three-pointer again. No. Rebound for the Panthers. Boy, the roof would have come off the Enterprise Center if that would have dropped. Bond. And now the Panthers will set. And looks like we have a foul here. Campbell inbounds to Tristan Smith, who's back in with 3 fouls. Smith trying to back his way in, and Smith gets bumped. I beg your pardon. They called a travel on Tristan Smith. Now we're going to have a timeout called here for Northern Iowa. This is getting away from the Panthers a little bit. Big run for the Braves. 51-45. Northern Iowa's lead down to 6. Bradley is up to 43% from the floor. Northern Iowa at 65%. Bradley's 5 of 12 from three-point range. Northern Iowa 3 for 6. 32-23, Duke is leading North Carolina. Keeping an update on that game. Again, we have our first bid clinched to the NCAA tournament. That is LIU out of the NEC. We will have our second tonight in the OVC championship game, Morehead State and Tennessee State. Here come the Braves following the timeout. Jonovic with it. Wojbrecki bounce pass inside. I believe they got a foul on the Panthers here. Inbound, it comes to Wheeler. Wheeler to Jonovic. Back to Wheeler. Wheeler with 12 to shoot. Gets it off to A.J. Smith. Back to Wheeler. Wheeler for three. That's an air ball, and out of bounds it goes to Northern Iowa. Weisbrod with it as Bradley throws some press on now. Off to Schweiger. Back to Weisbrod. They just got that up before the 10-second count. And now Trey Campbell will run the offense for the Panthers. Gets it back to Leon Bond. Tristan Smith now. Spinning, shooting off the glass and in with the left hand. Tristan Smith now has 8. That's the Panther lead is 8. 53-45. Under 12 and a half to go. Wojbrecki. Pass to A.J. Smith. Deflected. It almost got deflected in the basket. Northern Iowa comes down with it. Tristan Smith. Smith sends it back outside, and the Panthers will reset. Here's Bond back out to Smith. Smith with a nice bounce pass inside. Turnaround by Schweiger is good, and that extends the lead back to 10 again for Northern Iowa as they have scored 4 straight out of the timeout. 55-45 Panthers. Open three at the other end is good. Vandernap with a 3 for Bradley. Got 10 points off the bench tonight for the Braves. 55-48. Trey Campbell with it for Northern Iowa. Bounce pass to Smith. Fakes the 3. Now will drive inside. Turns on Jonovic. Missed it too hard. Rebound pulled down by Bradley. Vandernap with the ball. Gives it off to Jonovic. Jawan Johnson. Johnson on the drive. Lost it momentarily. Pulls up inside and scores. 55-50. This is as close as this game has been in a long time. Smith with the ball for the Panthers. Smith looking for some help. Off now to Trey Campbell. Campbell drives inside, left hand, gets it to go for Trey Campbell. 57-50. Panthers back up 7. Montana Wheeler with it. Off to A.J. Smith. To Murray and Birch. Back over to Wheeler, back to Birch. Birch tries a 3. Short. Rebound Northern Iowa, Schweiger. Midway point, second half. Open 3 at the other end is good by Weisbrod. 10-point lead for Northern Iowa. That's a big 3-pointer. And now Wheeler Had it deflected away. Maintains possession. Wheeler. And we've got a foul outside. If that's on Tristan Smith, it is. That's 4. And with 9:33 remaining, Tristan Smith will have to go to the bench with Northern Iowa with 4 fouls. Panthers leading by 10. Northern Iowa still shooting a blistering 67%. Bradley shooting at 44%. Update on the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils, 39-34. Duke leading North Carolina. And remember, North Carolina is now without Caleb Wilson for the rest of the season. Had thumb surgery yesterday. So the Tar Heels will have to go the rest of the way without Caleb Wilson. Here, the Panthers trying to hang on, leading 60-50 with 9.5 minutes remaining. Panthers do have 6 team fouls. So Bradley will be shooting free throws the rest of the way on each Panther foul here on out. Panthers still doing a lot of damage from inside. They have 32 points in the paint tonight. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. Inbound it comes to the Braves. A.J. Smith on the outside. Now Jaquan Johnson. Johnson off to Vandernap, who hits another 3. He's got 13 off the bench for Bradley, 60-53. Braves back within 7. Bounce goes underneath. Ball knocked out of bounds by Bradley. It will stay with Northern Iowa with 14 on the shot clock. Exactly 9 minutes remaining. Inbound into the backcourt. And that'll be a kick as Bond tried to get it inside, so that'll reset the shot clock to 20. Panthers bringing in Campbell. Here's Bond for a three. Got it. Leon Bond. He's got the hot hand in this one for the Panthers. He's now got 16, and it pushes the lead back to 10 for Northern Iowa, 63-53. Vandernap. Now to Jaquan Johnson. Johnson on the outside. Now looking to drive. Johnson gets cut off. Turnaround jumper short. Ball tipped out, though, and an offensive rebound for the Braves. Here's Corey Thomas. Thomas sends it outside. And now Jaquan Johnson. Shot clock at 10. 8 minutes to go in the game. Outside it goes to A.J. Smith. 3 to shoot. Smith throws it up there and missed it. And it's going to be a foul on Bradley on the rebound. 7:53 to play. 63-53. Panthers lead the Braves. Boy, Montana Wheeler had that big game for Bradley off the bench last night. Definitely was beneficial in Bradley's double overtime win over Valparaiso. Different story tonight for Montana Wheeler. He has just 2 points on 1 of 7 shooting. Bradley as a team is shooting 43%. Again, championship game here at Arch Madness is tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time, noon Eastern. Mentions UConn's loss that probably cost them a number 1 seed, and it also cost them the Big East S with the loss. St. John's clinched the Big East regular season title with this UConn loss. Bradley, I mentioned Montana Wheeler 1 for 7. Same thing for Jaquan Johnson. He is just 1 of 7 from the floor, held to 3 points tonight. Panthers inbound following the timeout. Here's Bond. Off down to Trey Campbell. Campbell looking for help, finds Hornseth. Back now to Schweiger on the outside. Back to Bond. Bond has been the big offensive weapon tonight for the Panthers. Bond stripped and lost it. Bradley gets the steal. 7th Northern Iowa turnover of the game. Jaquan Johnson will back it back out and try and set the offense. Johnson now drives inside. Johnson with a dangerous pass inside, and it goes off Bradley out of bounds. It will go over to the Panthers. Well, that was a dangerous pass for Jaquan Johnson. And Bradley ends up turning it over, just their 5th of the night. But that one came at a very inopportune time. That was a great play by R.J. Taylor of the Panthers. He was the one that actually got to the ball that knocked it off Bradley before that hit out of bounds. Panthers bring the ball up. Again, up by 10 as we approach 7 minutes remaining. R.J. Taylor on the drive. Sends it back out to Bond. Bond will back it out and reset. Bond off now to Schweiger. Schweiger on the outside now drives with 4 on the shot clock. Schweiger puts it up too hard off the glass, and Jonovic comes down with the Bradley rebound. There's a great look inside. A.J. Smith is tied up. A great defensive play by Northern Iowa. Bradley will keep it on the possession arrow. That was Trey Campbell that got in there to tie it up. Inbound here to Vanderdapp. Back to Wheeler, and Montana Wheeler gets it over the right side now. Hoybrechtse now with it. Hoybrechtse spins. Hoybrechtse gets inside. 2 on the shot clock. They're going to have to put this up here, and they just do get it off. The shot is short. Rebound pulled down by Northern Iowa. I think Bradley lost total awareness of where the shot clock was there, and Birch had to launch a long one. And now we've got, this is going to be an intentional foul underneath, it looks like, on Bradley. Yep, the official throws up the intentional foul. This will be 2 shots and the ball for Northern Iowa, as Trey Campbell just got pretty much pile drove down. Hoybrechtse is called for the intentional foul. That's his 3rd foul. Free throw is good. It'll be 2 shots and the ball for Northern Iowa. Not much of an argument from the Bradley side on that intentional foul call. That was pretty clear as day. Second free throw's no good. I mean, I'm all for hard fouls and everything, but you can't just basically pile drive a player down like Hoybrechtse just did. Now Northern Iowa will have the ball, up 11. Inbound it comes to the Panthers, and now a double team in the corner. Nice pass inside, and a foul as Schweiger goes up, and he will head to the line for 2 with 6:01 to play. Schweiger at the line, a 72% free throw shooter, first trip there in this game, and he misses short on the first. Second free throw for Schweiger. No, he missed them both. 72% shooter, misses 2. Bradley still down 11. Vanderdapp drives inside, and he gets fouled. He will head to the line to shoot 2. 5:45 to go. Ben Schweiger with that foul. That's his 3rd. Timothy Vanderdapp, a 63% shooter. He is 2 for 2 at the line in this one, and make it 3 for 3 as he hits the first. This to bring Bradley within 9. Got it. 64-55. The lead for the Panthers is 9. Now Bradley setting up some press here. Campbell able to break it. Hornseth sends it back outside, and the Panthers will run the offense. 12 on the shot clock. Bond gives it back to Campbell. Campbell looks inside, finds Schweiger. Schweiger with the drive inside. He gets cut off. He's going to have to give it off. Campbell with the shot. That rims out. Rebound pulled down by Bradley. Braves can get closer here. Juwan Johnson with the ball on the outside. Off to Corey Thomas. Back outside to Johnson. And now on the drive, off the glass, too strong. Offensive rebound for the Braves. And we've got a foul here, it looks like, on the Panthers. They are in the penalty. This will be a 1-1. This game's getting a little on the physical side. Campbell's second foul. Corey Thomas heads to the line for Bradley for a 1-1. Thomas, 76% shooter on the season. First is good. Thomas came up a little hobbly after that play, but still in the game. Second free throw for Thomas. Missed it. 64-56. Panthers lead by 8. Panthers break the press and get it across the midcourt stripe. Schweiger with it. Alley-oop pass. That is way too high as that hit off the top of the backboard. That pass wasn't anywhere close. Johnson is fouled on the drive, and he will shoot 2. There's no need for that at the other end for Northern Iowa. This is still only an 8-point game and still 4.5 minutes left. That pass wasn't anywhere close. Weisbrod commits the foul. That's his third. And Juwan Johnson heads to the line for 2 for Bradley. First free throw is good. This would cut it to 6. Second free throw on the way. Got it. 6-point game, 4:33 to go. Schweiger with it. Now a baseball pass ahead. Open 3 in the corner. That is good. And a big 3 for the Panthers. R.J. Taylor with the 3 in the corner. 67-58. We near 4 minutes to play. Jonovic. Off to Johnson. Back inside to Jonovic. 7 to shoot, and now we got a reach-in foul on Hornseth. Double bonus in effect. It'll be 2 shots for Bradley as we've hit the final media timeout with 3:58 to play. 67-58. Panthers up 9. But Bradley will be at the free throw line on the other side of the timeout. Panthers still over 60% shooting, 64%. Bradley is at 41%. Panthers have placed 2 players in double figures. Bradley's been able to put 3 players in double figures. UIC awaits the winner in the championship game. UIC knocked out the 3-time defending Arch Madness champion Drake earlier. If Northern Iowa wins this game and hangs on here, you would have a team that had to play in the first round to make it all the way to the championship game. Doesn't happen very often. Don't know if I'm going to be with you for the championship game tomorrow or not. It's up in the air right now. So TBD on this one. So at the line here for 2 free throws is Bradley. First of 2 is good. This next one to cut it to 7. Missed it. Rebound Panthers. 67-59 Northern Iowa. Here's Campbell on the outside for the Panthers. Campbell, well, a cross-court pass sails into the first row, and another Panther turnover. That is 2 careless passes on the last 3 possessions for the Panthers. 9th turnover of the game for Northern Iowa. They're keeping the door open for Bradley, are the Panthers. Jonovic gets inside and counted and one. Jonovic has a chance for a 3-point play for Bradley to bring this down to 5. Nine points for Jonovic, looking for his 10th. Got it. This is a 5-point game with 3:26 to play. RJ Taylor brings it across the timeline for Northern Iowa. Taylor off now to Schweiger. Schweiger on the drive. Schweiger counted and one. Schweiger with the answer and an and one for Northern Iowa. Vanderknapp on the foul for Bradley. Schweiger trying to complete the 3-point play, but does not. 3 minutes to play. Bradley down 7. Montana Wheeler with it on the outside for the Braves. Wheeler off to Jonovic. Jonovic drives inside, lost the handle and the possession. Northern Iowa gets a steal. Panthers going to try and use a little bit of clock this possession. R.J. Taylor. Outside to Bond. 10 to shoot for the Panthers. Bond dribbled it off his foot. There's a turnover. Boy, Bond dribbled that right off his foot. Pass across the court pass. That's a dangerous pass. Drive inside. Layup good. 69-64. Quick timeout Bradley with 2:05 remaining. Bradley uses their next to last timeout. Hasn't been a good shooting game for Jaquan Johnson, but he gets a bucket there that Bradley needed. 69-64. Panther lead is 5 with 2:05 to go. Panthers have 2 timeouts remaining. Panthers to inbound here. Bradley throwing some press. Again, a turnover. A bad pass for Northern Iowa. Bradley can bring this down to a 1-score game. Johnson going to run an offensive play here. Great pass inside. Here's Vandernap. 10 to shoot. There's a bad pass and turns it over. Back-to-back turnovers. And now the Panthers can work on the clock. Look at that pass inside, but Schweiger couldn't handle it. Another careless pass. 1:15 to go. Johnson on the drive. Johnson layup, no. What do we have here? Got a Bradley turnover, it looks like. Not sure what exactly they called there. Oh, moving screen on Corey Thomas. I just saw it on the replay. Third foul on Thomas. Panthers have the basketball, up by 5, although they've gotten very careless with the ball here. Final minute. Taylor turns it over again for the Panthers. That is 5 turnovers on their last 7 possessions. Bradley, though, for the most part, hasn't really been able to take full advantage of that. Final minute. Bradley down by 5. Johnson just kind of holding the ball. You don't really have time. Here's a 3. No good. That's way off the mark. And now Schweiger with the rebound for the Panthers. And now Northern Iowa going to take their time here, and Bond crosses half court and gets fouled with 43.3 on the clock. So the Panthers, despite all the turnovers here recently, Bradley has pretty much done nothing with them. Bond's first free throw is good. That extends the lead to 6. Got them both. 3-possession game now, 71-64, down to 40 seconds. Johnson. Off now, and Bradley throws it out of bounds. With 34.1, threw it right to Tom McCarthy, who's calling the game on CBS and press row. And the immediate foul given by Wheeler after the inbound. And the Panthers, if they can make their free throws, are going to be punching their ticket to the championship game. First free throw, no good. Second one is good. 72-64. Braves bringing up the floor, taking a lot of time here, and now we'll get loose and score underneath. 72-66. Timeout called by Bradley. This will be their final timeout. So Bradley going to try to put the press on, but they're going to have to immediately foul if they don't get the steal. It's now a final on that big bubble game in the Big Ten. Ohio State defeats Indiana 91-78. That probably sunk the Hoosiers. Unless they make some, they're going to have to make some kind of miraculous run in the Big Ten tournament now. 72-66. 24 and a half seconds remaining. Both teams are in the double bonus now. Panthers to bring it in. They do still have 2 timeouts if they can't get the ball in, and they do here. And Bradley's going to have to foul here. They're taking a lot of time, and they finally... Oh, that's called a travel. They're going to get Schweiger for a travel. Only bad news for that for Bradley is it took 5.5 seconds off the clock. Looked like for sure they were going to foul. Yeah, Schweiger did look like he just lost his footing there. So Bradley has a chance here. Quick three-pointer on the way. That's too strong. Jonovic, the rebound. Wheeler has an open three. That's good with 9.2. It's a 3-point game. Panthers, there's another dangerous inbound, but they do get it. Oh, my goodness. The Panthers have made some very questionable passes here at the end stages of this ballgame. Bond at the line for 2. Just needs one of these to make it a 2-possession game. First is no good. Door still open with 7.7. Now the old discussion, if he misses this up 3, do you foul if you're the Panthers? He got it, so it's a moot point. 73-69. Now Northern Iowa will use a timeout. It is a 2-possession game with 7.7 remaining. So with 7.7 to go, Bradley's going to have to get a very quick shot. It can be a 2 if they get it quick. Bradley fans on that last inbounds play with the foul thought they had a tie-up there. They were none too happy the tie-up was called, but even if a tie-up was called, Northern Iowa has the possession arrow. So here we go. Bradley has to go the length of the floor, down to 7.7. It comes into Jaquan Johnson. Johnson up the floor. Johnson will take a quick open 3. That is off the mark. And the Northern Iowa Panthers have punched their ticket to the Arch Madness Championship game as they win it 73-69 over Bradley. It got a little sketchy there at the end for the Panthers, but they pull it out. And it will be the Panthers and the Flames for the Arch Madness Championship and NCAA bid. Quite the finish in this one. Bradley has had one last gasp at it. So we've got the 6 seed and the 5 seed in the Arch Madness Championship, Northern Iowa and UIC. To see who gets the championship in Arch Madness, and it will be heading to the NCAA tournament. Final stats in this one real quick. Northern Iowa, 66% shooting. They continued their torrid shooting in this game. 29 of 44. They were 6 of 9 from three-point range at 67%. Just 9 of 15 at the free throw line for 60%. Bradley, meanwhile, 23 of 53 from the floor, 43%. 8 of 21 from 3 at 38%. 15 of 18 at the free throw line for 83%. Slight rebound edge for the Panthers, 24-22, 14 turnovers for the Panthers, 11 of those in the second half. That nearly came back to cost them. Bradley had 9 turnovers in the game. Points in the paint, a big story as well. Northern Iowa, 34 paint points in this one. They outscored Bradley in the paint, 34-26. Individual scoring, Northern Iowa put 4 in double figures, led by Leon Bonds, 19 points tonight. He was the big offensive weapon for the Panthers. Trey Campbell added 13. 10 apiece for Ben Schweiger and R.J. Taylor. 8 points apiece from Tristan Smith and Will Hornseth. 3 out of Max Weisbrod and 2 out of Ishmael Diouf. Bradley put 4 in double figures, led by Timothy Vanderknapp off the bench with 12. Corey Thomas, 11 points, 10 apiece from A.J. Smith and Ahmet Janovic. 9 points apiece from Jaquan Johnson and Alex Hoybretzi. 5 points out of Montana Wheeler, 2 out of Demarion Birch, and 1 point out of Kai Yu to wrap up the scoring for Bradley as the Panthers get win number 22 on the season as they win at 73-69. They will be playing for the championship at Arch Madness and an NCAA bid tomorrow in the championship game against the 5 seed UIC Flames. That again coming up at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern time, the Arch Madness championship game tomorrow. That's going to wrap it up tonight on the live stream. Appreciate you all joining me. Again, my name is John, Sportsman into John on YouTube. If you'd like my content, really would appreciate a like and subscribe from you. That would really help out. Also on Twitch at Sport Guru John. Also have some content on Kick at Sports Kick John. Again, TBD if I'm going to be able to be on for the championship game tomorrow. We'll see. I'll try and have an update for you. If not, I'll try and jump on tomorrow and do one of the championship games tomorrow. If I can't do this one, we'll have to see the schedule. Again, I will try and have an update on my page tomorrow early on if I will be on for the championship game or not. Again, that's up in the air, TBD right now. So hopefully join me. Might see you tomorrow, but not hopefully see you down the road. As going to have some college basketball championship games throughout the week this week on the live stream. Appreciate you joining me. Again, UIC and Northern Iowa for the Arch Madness title tomorrow at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. See how that goes. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great rest of your